Good morning, everyone. It's your girls from Obscure Orations, me, Tay, her, Dana. So today, because we weren't 100% sure what we were going to do, and I was laying there in bed thinking about topics we could talk about today. And as I continued to list them to Dana, a realization washed over me of today shall be Pedro Pascal appreciation episode. Because everything that I think I recommend, I'm like, ooh, we could talk about this. Oh, we could talk about this, and then this. And it's like,
It's all Pedro related.
there's a lot of Pedro in it. Let's just fucking talk about Pedro. And I mean, we'll start off with the fact that, we'll start off with me. I absolutely love and adore him. Think he's amazing. Um, One of the things that I love about him and kind of annoyed me, um, on social media, I want to say maybe a week and a half ago, I was on the TikToks and there was something for Pedro, and he had been at an event and he was trying to, like, he was physically reaching out to one of his co-stars and,
Oh,
like,
from the
kind of touching.
Fantastic Four.
Okay, is that what that's from? And kind of like gives her arm like a tap kind of thing, like kind of touches it, and she just blindly like reaches back, grabs it, and is holding on to it for him. And what really pissed me off was that I had seen some comments and people talking about, uh, he's famous, he couldn't possibly have anxiety, he couldn't
Oh, he
have,
does.
all this stuff, and talking about his mental health and being like, well, he's famous and he's on TV and does all this stuff all the time. There's no way that he could have, mental health issues. And for me, it pissed me off. Like, I was happy to see so many people saying and recognizing right away that they're like, oh, it's his anxiety was overwhelming him. He's trying to find comfort, like trying to get someone to kind of like hold on to him and bring him back into the here and now. And there were so many people that were just like, I'm like, you know what? You guys can go fuck yourselves. Doesn't matter. Like, it truthfully does not matter if you're famous or not. Even if you're on TV every day, there's a difference between being on TV and shooting that in a small kind of setting. Like, there's people around you. You're still going to have social anxiety anyways, but you can get through it easier versus being on stage in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people and having them all watch you and judge you live while you're right there. There's nothing between you. There's no barrier between you and the people. If they
Yeah.
have something mean to say, you have to hear it because they're going to sit there and say it to you. Like, it's there's no way around it. There's no hiding from it.
Yeah.
And he has done really well with explaining. I think it was in an interview with him, and their name is Bella Ramsey.
From Last of Us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, is that their name? I'm pretty sure it is. um, and explaining to them that right in so where he points to in his stomach, like being right there in the middle, is the solar plexus, and that's where all of our stress and anxiety come from. So when we're stressed out and anxious, it clenches up and gets really tight. And he explained it perfectly, saying like that's where you'll see me, like when he's doing interviews or he's standing on red carpets, you'll suddenly see him bring his hand up and put it right there. And he's like, that's where my anxiety is, that's where it sits. So it's him trying to comfort himself and just kind of like hold it and push it down, kind of a thought. And I thought that was the best way to kind of explain it to people, and would have hoped that people would have all listened to that and been like, others can identify with that, because I know that's where our anxiety sits. You feel it right there, and then it spreads out from there.
Yeah.
And it made me angry. I felt
And
defensive and angry.
and it's sad that as a human and as a human in the public eye, he has to explain himself to people in
Mm-hmm.
order to not be perceived as a nut job, basically.
Yeah.
Because um if he had to, or if he had a full-blown anxiety attack on that stage, how would the media have reacted? It wouldn't have been all hugs and cuddles, I'm telling you right now.
God, no.
I don't even know if the National Enquirer is still around, but
it still is. Yep.
Okay.
It's still, like, if I see it when I go through the checkouts over at Zayre's. That's how I know it's still there.
So TMZ, the National Enquirer, any of those non-reputable publications would be all over that shit, and it wouldn't be Pedro Pascal has anxiety issues or a mental health issue. It would be what cracked that nut. You know it. There would be no sympathy. No love, no sympathy towards what he was going through.
Especially, like, and those are two of the, I'd have to say, like, those are two of the biggest well-known publications, I'd say, that are just notorious for putting out wrong information. Like, the Enquirer, I think, is probably the most well-known one for having the wrong information and just publicizing and everything that gets them headlines. They're like, oh, look, he walked backwards down the one-way street. And you're like, how would that even, what? All right, can you believe they did this? No. But there's so many of those things that she's like, you're 100% right. Had it happened, had he had like a full-blown anxiety attack, a panic attack, caught on camera, they still would have just freaking belittled him to no end.
Absolutely. Yeah. It wouldn't have been, and I mean, he's out in the public eye. He's got a lot coming on in the next, like, little bit. He's got The Last of Us season 2. Fantastic Four is coming out in 2025. So, it's not like he's not going to be out there. But if that had happened, I guarantee you the press releases for those, he wouldn't be there.
Oh, God, no.
He would be absent.
Be one of those things of a public humiliation. Like, it's one of those things of, like, we all have those, I want to say, like, high school fears or school year fears, where you have the fear of talking in public places. You're not great at speeches.
Oh, God, I hated those.
Fuck, with a goddamn pet. What's funny is that we both hated them, and here we are on a podcast where people listen to us around the world.
Right?
I can't remember someone pointed that out, and I'm like, there's a difference, though. They're like, you can do public speaking. I'm like, no. That does not count.
The difference between a podcast and public speaking, right now, I'm just talking to you in the comfort of my box-filled spare room. You're talking to me in the comfort of your bedroom.
Yep.
We're not technically out in public talking. This video is going to go public in about 3 hours, but we're not directly talking to the people watching.
Yes.
Huge difference.
That's 1,000,000% it for me, where I'm like, oh, no. Trust me, it does not count. It is not the same. It's one of those times of going, we are not the same at this point. It's like,
you and me, we are not the same.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, you put me in front. Like, I've had so many people over my lifetime all tell me, they're like, you know what you'd be really good at? A stand-up comedian. And I'm like, no. And they're like, you're so good at it. I'm like, no, sweet summer child, no. Let me make this clear. I can be funny with small groups of people, and it's situational. So I feed off of other people and can make the funnies and go ha 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 ha, ha with the best of them. I, however, will not do good in large groups of people where I have to be the focal point of everyone watching and being like, I've watched some of those stand-up comedians, and let me be clear, I fucking love them. They're hilarious, and I think they have balls to go and do it. But when they go and stand up and they have, I'm trying to remember one of the last ones I saw, I think had like 10,000 um audience members. And I was like, I would take 2 steps on that stage, piss myself, and run off.
10,000 is nothing. My favorite comedian in the whole wide world, Gabriel Iglesias,
Fluffy.
did Dodger Stadium.
Oh.
That is like 55,000 people. Plus, then that's just the stands. The field was full too.
Oh, that's right.
He is and still remains the comedian that has put on the biggest show. And you know what? If I'd lived anywhere close to California, my ass would have been there too. Because, yeah, I'm going to see him in November, so I'm okay. But yeah, it big crowds scare me too.
I say little crowds scare me. Big ones traumatize me. Like there'd be no way in hell.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
I am a Marvel girl through and through. I love me my Marvel movies. I love me my Marvel universe. Me and Stan Lee, kindred souls. I watched the original Fantastic Four. It sucked ass. It was so bad. I think the only highlight of the whole movie was Michael Chiklis as the Thing.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say the highlight for me was when it ended and the credits rolled.
Yeah, that too. Although I didn't go to the theater to watch it. I watched it when it was streaming. So that they've done what, two more reboots since then, and now they're doing Fantastic Four 2025,
yes.
which our friend Pedro will be playing Mr. Fantastic, aka Reed Richards.
He will have to make it good. Like he's just good in everything that he's in. So clearly,
the rest
it's going to be
of the cast. Movie. Don't ask me because I did not pay attention.
I know there is a cast. I'm just like, who else is in it? There's been so many. Like you said, there's already been. I think just since the first one came out, which I laugh at because one of the characters actually, Chris Evans reprised his role.
Torch.
Yeah, he reprised his role for like 5 minutes in Deadpool and Wolverine, which was so weird to see, considering how piss poor that movie did, and everyone still rags on him about it. Which I mean, I get because it was so badly done. Well, but then he redeemed himself.
And it's weird because, and this is where that multiverse from Doctor Strange comes into effect. Chris Evans played Torch in the original Fantastic Four. Chris Evans plays Captain America.
Which he is fantastic at.
So now I'm gonna just throw myself off track here. Sorry, Pedro. We'll come back to you in a minute. The new Avengers movie that is coming out.
I can't remember what its name is, but yes.
Doomsday.
Oh yes, yeah.
Doctor Doom.
Dr. I was just going to say that. Yes,
is being played by Robert Downey Jr. Holy fuck! Was there an uproar when he unmasked himself at Comic-Con. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I get that he was Iron Man in that Marvel timeline up to leading, spoilers.
If you have. To be fair, if they haven't watched it by now, then they're just doomed anyways.
If you haven't watched, get off our podcast.
If you haven't watched, spoiler alert, #spoilers, go away.
Up until the snap by Thanos, he was Iron Man. Now, we see in Doctor Strange 2, there's multiverses. We see it in Spider-Man.
Yes.
Where we have all the different Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, all guys that have played Spider-Man make an appearance in that last Spider-Man movie. So who's to say that this new Avengers movie isn't in an alternate
universe timeline
where Robert Downey Jr. isn't Iron Man? He's Doctor Doom.
So I've read a very small number of comic books from the Marvel universe back when I was in grade 4 kind of thing. However, one of our mutual friends, Lurch, was telling me,
"Hi, Lurch."
I like that you mean it. Oh, I love Lurch. He and I were talking about it the one day, and he was telling me that I guess in the comics, what's the actual character's name? Tony Stark actually is Doomsday in alternate universes. So Doomsday is, I guess, played by a bunch of different characters depending on the universe kind of setting. But Tony Stark is actually Doomsday in a few of them. So it actually makes sense when you look at it that way, and the way, because you've watched the TV series too, it's how TVA is the name of that, the people in Loki who go around zapping the timelines right. It's how they've been able to get all of the different timelines and explain them, because they're like, okay, here you go. Loki showed us that there's 5 billion million different timelines, and depending on where you go, because even at the end of they called it the Marvels, the one that was the sequel to Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Where they showed the one girl going and being able to close up the space rip in her universe, but it transported her to another one, where I had said to my mom, I was like, you know what? She really reminds me of Storm from the X-Men, the way that she's doing stuff. She would get the white kind of looking hair, the eyes would fill in, everything that she did. I'm like, she reminds me a lot of what Storm's abilities are. So that's kind of interesting. And then they put her through into the alternate universe, where she found the character who in her universe was her mom, but in this one is someone completely different. I think she's actually part of the Fantastic Four in that alternate universe. And by the looks of it, it looks like they've literally set it up that this new girl is actually going to play Storm in at least one of the universes. So it definitely gives prominence to the idea of, okay, Tony Stark from an alternate reality is probably coming in as Doomsday, and it's going to be like, hey, I'm now the big bad guy. Let's go.
And for us Marvel fans, besides the comic, and again, that another reason why I love Lurch, the Marvel movie fans, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is a magnetic force on that big screen.
Oh my God,
so,
yes.
So you think about it, how long has it been since an Avengers movie has come out? I think the last one was Endgame.
I think so.
With all the Avengers.
I say with a true to form Avengers assembly, I think that was literally the last one, that was it was before COVID. So it would have
I
been
think it was
something
like
like
2017, 2018.
That's what I was thinking too.
So it's been a while. And if you only watched the Marvel movies for the Avengers, you haven't watched any 2019. You haven't watched after that.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't taken the time to watch the series of Loki, WandaVision,
Hawkeye, all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not all the Avengers. It's their personal stories. What a play. What a fucking fantastic move to bring back Robert Downey Jr. as a villain. Because, again, that's going to draw so many people to that movie.
Yes.
Because now they're like, Tony Stark was such a good guy. Oh my God, I got to see him play a bad guy. Kudos, Marvel.
Yep. Well, I think they've done a really good job in it they've played it smart. They've used their TV series to fill in the times when they don't have movies, but they've been able to use them as plot devices, being able to explain, okay, here's what goes on. We're not making it a movie. We're going to give you whatever, a 6 to 8 episode story arc that'll give you story. You'll get attached to new characters. It's a really good way to bring in the new characters that they're going to be like, okay, here's our new adventures. And this is what you guys are going to have now. Here's the new cast. Here's how everything's going to be set up. Here's how everything works. So we can have, they've set themselves up so well with having the ability of, they could literally bring back any fucking character that they want to because they set up the TVA. So because they did that, they can bring in whatever character, and they could bring in the same character but different iterations, like they did with Spider-Man, like they've done with Fantastic Four, because you have the original version of it. You have he played it in shiitake mushrooms. Was it in was it the Spider-Man one? No, Doctor Strange. It was in Doctor Strange where he went to the alternate universe, and they had like the setup where they had Patrick Stewart back as Xavier.
Yes.
Oh my God, did that make me so happy to see him in his wheelchair again. Oh, I was so freaking pleased. It's like I didn't even have words. I fangirled so hard over that. So I love the fact that they can have that character come back as the original that you remember, as a sequel member, or a brand new alternate universe version of it.
Yeah.
So you get to have things like Pedro coming in, and I'm going to bet that he plays the best iteration of the character just because he's Pedro. Like,
I would agree with you.
As anyone who watched our promo before this, going, yeah, she would definitely have to agree with that. That's her future husband.
Yep. We could have made this show all about Marvel.
I was just gonna say, yeah, we started off about Pedro and then we get sidetracked. This is why we advertise. There's no real set in stone topic for today.
Well,
it was going with
the Marvel multiverse is so big, and there's so many ways you can go, right? And then again, like you said, if you're watching the series to fill in the blanks, which, as much as a Marvel fan I am, and I have stuck through all of them, I watched WandaVision, but I did not like it.
That one was a slow burn for me. Like the first, let's say 3 episodes. It was the first 3, like I think it was like 3.5 episodes before I finally got into it. And it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, I need to understand what the hell is happening in the Marvel universe, because it is, if you don't watch the TV series, you would 1,000,000%, like, had I never seen Loki, I wouldn't have had any fucking idea what the hell happened in Deadpool and Wolverine. I would have been like, how the hell? I don't get it. What's happening here?
Yep.
So you definitely have to, but I agree with you. Like WandaVision, that was a slow get up and go. But then for me, I feel that way about the Loki TV series. That one's the slow one for me. Like I still have to watch season 2.
Excuse me. Season 1. I felt season 1 was like a little bit of a snooze fest.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed season 2 because that's when the time hopping came into effect. Loki kept switching.
Oh, okay. Now I have more desire to watch season 2.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No, because I was so. That gives me a desire, because I'm like, if it's going to be like season 1, I'm not going to be for it.
No, season 2 it's a lot better, and it really brings in the multiverse.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I say
Yeah.
I have to watch that one, and I have to watch. The hell are the others? I have to watch that one. I haven't seen. I think there's one out. I think about Nick Fury. I want to say. I think he has his own. I don't think I've seen that one, and I still have to watch the Hulk or She-Hulk. I think it's the She-Hulk.
I haven't watched She-Hulk yet.
I heard such mixed reviews, but I hear mixed reviews about like everything Disney puts out. I hear mixed reviews about, which I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm just happy for content at this point in time, because I'm like, yeah.
So again, the Hulk is another character. Was the first Hulk movie came out?
Yeah, because that was with what's his name, Eric Bana, I think.
Eric Bana, yeah.
Great actor. That movie.
Yeah, great actor. Bad movie. Oh, bad movie. When they rebooted the Hulk and they got Mark Ruffalo.
But before him was oh, I can see him's face, and I just had his name.
Him's face. Ruffalo came in when they started doing the Avengers.
Yes, because Edward Norton.
Ed Norton, yes.
That's his name. He was, and his Hulk movie was phenomenal. Everyone loved it. He did a phenomenal job. He was great for it. And then there's like a falling out or something that happened, that he wasn't the Hulk anymore. So he literally did that one movie, and then it became Mark Ruffalo, which, I mean, I actually love, because he does a really good job. He's a good actor. I enjoy him. But it was just a very quick turn of events where you're like, oh, I'm expecting you're not him. What?
but it honestly, in contrast, Norm and I have a couple times now, we've done the Marvel universe, the movies in order, the way they should be watched.
Yep, same.
In order for you to know what the fuck is going on. Yeah. And when it gets to the Hulk movies, you watch that first one, then you watch Ed Norton, and you're like, okay, it's getting better. Avengers comes out, and it's Mark Ruffalo. You're like, fuck! Because it's just, and it could be because CGI came such a way in that different time, where when he hulked out, the Hulk still had his features. It still looked like him. I didn't find that with Eric Bana, Ed Norton Hulk.
No, they switched and they became completely different. Like, their Hulk looked completely different.
Yeah. So that I enjoyed that. WandaVision. Again, I understand Vision was a big character in the last two Marvel movies because
Yep.
Infinity Stone forehead.
Yes.
But I think I feel that if perhaps not so much Vision, because we know how he came about, but maybe if Wanda and her brother had been introduced sooner,
Yeah.
I think Marvel audiences would have been more receptive to the Wanda storyline as a series. I've read that it didn't get very good reviews, wasn't one of the most watched type.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it was a lukewarm. Like, it was okay, but it was lukewarm.
Yeah. Kind of like in the Star Wars universe, we have the Mandalorian, which is blew right off the TV.
With Pedro.
And then Ahsoka, which again, very good. The Acolyte, meh. You know, you're like
yeah, you're like, where did you fall short?
So
like, right there.
I guess it's every franchise has their the thorn in their paw, if you will.
Well, and you know what?
And you know what? As long as Jon Favreau stays behind a lot of those Star Wars offshoots, I'm in. I'm in because I fucking love Jon Favreau.
So see, this is one of my favorite geeky points, is that when you look at both Marvel and Star Wars, the main driving force behind what got them going was actually Jon Favreau, which I didn't know. Yes, Happy Hogan. Which I didn't know for the Marvel stuff. I knew about Star Wars because obviously I'm older now and I pay more attention to that kind of stuff. But I didn't know until more recently that he was the driving force behind all the Marvel things. That he was a producer director, I think just producer in the Iron Man movies and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was the driving force behind, hey, let's get this going. This could be an amazing universe to be in. So when you think about the stuff that man has done and gotten jump started, he's like god of two major universes.
Yeah.
That everyone's like, these are multi-million, billion-dollar deals going on over here where you're like, okay, you got Marvel, you got Star Wars, two of the biggest IPs.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, he wrote, directed, and produced most of The Mandalorian. Was it 3 seasons in?
4?
3 or 4 seasons.
I always get confused because of the damn Boba Fett show.
Oh yeah, Boba Fett too.
I think 4. Yeah, okay. 4 seasons of Mando plus Boba Fett. Yeah, 4 I think.
Yeah,
pretty positive.
He wrote the episodes.
Yeah, see, he was
him and another guy. Sorry, guy, can't remember your name.
Or Dave Filoni, not John. Dave Filoni is the other guy. Okay. Dave Filoni is basically the chosen son of George Lucas, the god of Star Wars. Because he was like, okay, he brought Dave in, and Dave is the one who actually created the Clone Wars, the animated series. So that's why he wrote, produced, and directed, I think, all of Ahsoka. Like, he was the one behind writing all of it. He didn't want anyone else. That was his brain baby, because he did Clone Wars, he did Rebels, and now he's done Ahsoka. But he's also involved, like, both of them are gigantic Star Wars nerds, which makes it fantastic when they get together.
You know what pisses me off? Fuck Steven Spielberg. Who the fuck is he when you have these guys? Like, buddy, you did E.T. Woohoo! That was in the fucking 80s. Let's move along now.
Yeah, I was saying, he hasn't really...
He has not done a lot in recent years, and that probably because he's as old as fuck, but...
Yeah, or say, let's be honest, he made all of his money off of E.T., Indiana Jones, and
didn't he do Close Encounters?
Was he Close Encounters? I can never remember. Like, I know he was really big, like you said, 80s, 90s. I think he was really big, and then he made all of his money. Then it's like, I can do what I want.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which,
But
I mean,
he is still referred to as the greatest out there, and in my opinion, he's not.
not anymore.
He may have been at one time,
mm-hmm.
but he's not anymore. It's not
Yeah.
anymore.
I was going to say, whereas like the one I will give to like greatest of all time for like soundtrack pieces, John Williams, hands down, because the man, they literally, so he's the one who soundtracked Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Jaws,
Okay.
and he actually came out of retirement for, is it for the Mandalorian initially? Can't remember which one it was that he actually came out of retirement for, but he actually did for one of the shows.
Sorry, I know you guys can't see that. Yes, Steven Spielberg did do Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, okay, he did. Okay. I felt like you're right.
I was pretty positive because I like Richard Dreyfuss, and that was one of my favorite movies. So
you're like, I'm pretty sure I know who did that one, but you know. But yeah, like John Williams, best composer of our time. I'll be heartbroken when he dies. Which, well, we're talking about deaths, we'll have a moment here just to say, like, you know what? The voice of Darth Vader, the voice of Mufasa, and what the hell was it ESPN? The TSN? I don't know, one of the sports things where he'd be like, "Oh, it's sports now," and he was the announcer guy for that. I want to. God damn it! Now it's going to bug me before I make. Come here, James. Does it say? No, nothing for a quick comparison of. God damn it! That's going to drive me insane. But the mighty, the wonderful, and talented James Earl Jones passing this past week.
Yes, Mufasa.
I don't, I like, it's still, it didn't feel real because I hadn't seen anything about it on any social media. And then I saw a friend had actually posted it. And I was like, are you for real? And I went and I looked it up, and it had been like 9 minutes before it had been announced.
Yeah.
And my heart just broke. And I've now seen, there's been a bunch of different pictures where like they have the cast of Star Wars and showing how many of them have passed away now, and that there's only a small handful that are still left standing at this point. And it just breaks my heart because no one else will ever be the voice of Darth Vader.
Right.
And I'm eternally grateful to him for giving the rights for his voice to be continued to use past his demise so that we can still have him as Darth Vader no matter what. So we have hours upon hours of his voice recordings over the decades. So he'll still get to be a part of that universe for all of us who are attached to that. But at the same time, it's heartbreaking. And I'm sure there'll still be times where they use his voice. But I'm sure that the point in time where they get to it and go, this is the last time that you'll hear the voice of Darth Vader, I guarantee you I'm going to cry like a little baby.
By then.
I'm going to be a little baby. I'm going to be a little mush pile on the floor. And it's going to be one of those times of going, I don't like this. Nope. If I just pretend like if I don't watch that last episode, he'll never die.
And that's it, right?
So just wanted to give that little shout out for him because he is one of my all-time favorite villains, best voice ever for it, bar none. But
yeah, you see those stupid things on Facebook that said say if you could have anybody narrate your life, who would you pick? And me,
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones or Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Sometimes my life just needs a motherfucker thrown in there.
1,000,000% agreed. Like, I would happily have either of them, but just having that deep, dark voice coming around with you, like, that would be amazing. You just see me frolic around going, did you guys hear what I just did? Let me do it again. Just hear the booming voice come out. So now back to our boy Pedro, because we're in the Star Wars universe now. Let's talk about how fucking well this guy has done for his acting abilities and the different mega universes he's gotten into.
Oh, right.
So we now have him entering into the Marvel universe. That's pretty well like just you on top of cloud 9, you ruling the heavens. Because before he did that, he was in and is still in The Mandalorian. One of the best things to come out of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's fantastic fucking minds. And they have gifted us Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, along with 2 or 3 body doubles that actually don the armor. Well, we're going to be focusing on Pedro.
Voiceovers.
Yep. Which I think they did, in my opinion, they did really well in choosing him for it, because he fits the voice that would be portrayed coming out of that super, super well.
Yeah.
And he has made so many people fall in love with him because of that series.
He has become the internet daddy.
He really has. Like, and I find it adorable when I've seen the clips of him voice recording in the sound booth, and they're showing on the screen what the character's doing, and he has to put his voice into it, and he's either holding a little stuffed animal of Grogu, Baby Yoda, or he's holding a pillow and pretending that it's him holding the baby the entire time. I'm like, that is adorable. And so I love knowing that fact, because it makes watching those scenes even better, knowing that he's behind some screen going, okay, I've got the pillow. Got you, kid. Let's go.
He's in an animated cartoon. Pedro. He did the voice of... I don't know if it's been... You know what? I gotta look it up.
Animated cartoon.
You'd think I looked up Pedro a lot. I type in a P on Google and his name pops up.
Your phone's like, look, we know you're looking for your husband again.
Yeah, listen,
we've got
lady.
It.
And
he's not in your area.
He's only 49, so.
I mean, he's right there. He's right within your age range. Gonna start seeing you packing those empty boxes with your stuff. I'm leaving, Norm. Time for me to go get Pedro.
Either that or my husband's gonna start packing the empty boxes and leaving me. So we have Gladiator 2 coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
For Fantastic Four, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, Eddie from Stranger Things.
Right, yes.
He's in Fantastic Four.
Yes, I think he's going to be the Torch.
Yes, Johnny.
Yes.
Narcos.
All right, he's in Narcos. Can't forget that. I was going to say what Dana watches for her adult pleasures.
Okay, Pedro voiceover.
They're probably sitting there going, a million things.
Poop.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I know of him being in any. Well, unless
I saw the fucking clip. I'm sure of it, Pedro Pascal.
You're like, I know my man's voice.
Pedro Pascal.
Let's see here.
Voice acting. Pedro Pascal voice acting.
Oh yeah, that probably would have made that easier. Oh, he's going to be in The Wild Robot. That's right.
That's it.
That's the cartoon. Yes, you're completely right. He's going to be in that.
Tell me I don't know my man.
You're like, don't you tell me none of this nonsense.
Yeah, so he's very versatile.
Yeah, I was going to say, dude does everything.
I'm sure he's going to love me with my wild hair, too. My wild gray hair.
My wild, wild roots. So we've got him in The Mandalorian. I still have, as of yet, to watch Narcos. That's on the list of to be watched.
So good.
I say I'm fully prepared that he's going to be adult Pedro in that. but you know, while
only
we're
twice. Only twice.
Okay, so I think I want to say that's probably less often than when he was in Game of Thrones. When he was, because he was adult Pedro in that a lot. I think.
Which, by the way, it took me second time around to realize Pedro was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I still remember you not believing me. I think we were recording one of the episodes, either this podcast or the other one, and you're like, "What? My man's in Game of Thrones?"
You say?
Like, yeah, he's one of the main characters in like season 4
from House Martell.
I am from House Martell. God, I loved him in that, and that's another one.
He was really good in that.
And you think about it, like, again, it's a mega series.
Yep.
And I haven't gotten to it yet. So currently, I am watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Now I haven't watched that. I've heard good things though.
Oh, good. It's not just me. So I've never seen it before in my life, which several of my friends were very displeased to hear this. But I remember seeing, I want to say like interview snippets, Pedro talking about when he was, I want to say it was like an episode of he's actually on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay. He was like a special guest in one of the seasons. So I'm really interested to see little baby-faced Pedro, because this was obviously back in, depending on what season he's in, the show started in 97. So we're going back a long time.
My God, that was before my child was born.
At least I was 5. Excuse me.
Yeah, Sam was born in 98.
Oh yeah, so season 2 of Buffy. She was there for that. But
she wasn't watching though.
No, I don't think she would have understood the concept of it and been like, what's happening? So I'm currently watching that. I'm like eagerly awaiting when he comes on the screen. But I have to say, it's a fantastic show to watch for just getting to see all of the horrible cheesiness from the 90s, because it is 100% 90s era show. Acting is 90s, action is 90s, clothes 90s. It's like watching a walking time capsule. It's not a great thing per se.
You know, I have a hard time now with how fast things are moving. Who the fuck was I talking to? And we were talking about high school. And I'm like, yeah, I graduated in 1990. And I'm like, oh my God.
Something you're like,
oh my God.
Oh.
That was like over 30 years ago.
Yeah, when you're like, we're in 2024, and you add another 10 years. Nope.
It's obscene.
Well,
obscene.
I was saying
how fast time is flying.
Well, I was saying that to one of my friends the other day, because I'm watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Back in the day, and I can now say that now that I realize how old the show is, Fuck me. I watch Vampire Diaries, which is one of my favorites. Really fucking well done. And also, my mom and I both agree, and so does the internet, that it is the hottest cast ever put together for a TV show, bar none. But now that I'm starting to watch Buffy, I actually texted my friend and I was like, I need you to watch Vampire Diaries because Angel is 1,000,000% what they base Stefan off of. Like, even the story arc, everything. I'm like, this is the same goddamn character. Like, they even went as far as looks.
I never watched Vampire Diaries either.
Oh, so good. It's sexy actors and actresses, and then good storylines, actually good acting.
I may have to check that one out too.
Yes.
I am currently by myself watching Criminal Minds.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize there was like 900 episodes per season.
Yup.
I'm still on season 1.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, I've also been very, very busy. In the last 2 weeks, pardon me, in the last 8 days, I photographed 2 weddings.
Yeah.
Ripped up a floor, put in a new floor, put in quarter round on my baseboards, sanded my baseboards, getting them ready to prime and paint. I've been busy.
Yeah. I was to say, the fact that you're that far along, even in that, is impressive when you're like, okay, especially if you're only watching it by yourself, so you're not watching it with Norm. That gives you even fewer hours of window of opportunity to be able to be like, okay. And you've still also been reading because you did your first book review. You have a second one on the way.
Yeah.
So, like, you've had some things on the go.
It's been interesting. It's been interesting, and I need to get really I need to get my living room back into tip-top shape. Like, once we do the baseboards, we're gonna do the walls. I need to get my shelves back up there because now I have that beautiful new Mandalorian Funko Pop that I need to display.
You're like, Pedro is now with me.
Pedro is with me always.
You need, like, you know what you need to do? You need to collect all the different Funko Pops that are just him and have like a shrine to Pedro Funko Pop.
like I've done with Freddie Mercury.
Exactly. You'll have Freddie and Pedro.
If anybody out there wants to send me a gift, there is a Funko Pop set of the whole Queen band.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There is.
I was going to say
that I need to find that. I need to find it. I cannot find it. I need to find it. I've already given up on Shannon Hoon because I can't afford that one. It was the only one ever made. Okay. Shannon Hoon was the lead singer of Blind Melon. Next to Metallica and Elton John in my top 5 bands. Fucking love Blind Melon. Anyways, the Shannon Hoon Funko Pop is from Woodstock, 1991.
Pre-me.
Yeah. And it's, when I did find it on eBay, about $1,200 US.
Oh my Jesus!
Because it was a limited series.
Oh.
And like Frankenfurter for Rocky Horror, which I own.
Yeah, let's make this clear, people. I looked at Frankenfurter, and he's now probably even more expensive. Fuck me.
Yeah, like, I collect them. I collect the Funko Pops. I love them. I have all the Pennywises. I have all the Stephen King ones.
Of course,
I have Ferris Bueller. I have Vincent Price. I have Bob Ross. I have Freddie Mercury. I have Metallica. Now, the Metallica that I have does not have Cliff Burton.
Oh.
There is a Cliff Burton Funko Pop.
You're like, I must have him.
Unless I win the fucking lottery, I will not have him. Because again, Cliff Burton was killed in 1986 in Sweden in a bus accident touring. Why is it all the Funko Pops that I want are of dead people?
I was going to say, kind of noticing a trend here. Maybe Funko Pops.
Yeah, right?
If I want a Funko Pop, they're dead. They're probably already dead.
I can't even fathom the Marvel ones that are out there. I mean, well, I have, so for whatever reason, on a whim, I went onto Facebook Marketplace during COVID because I'd had my knee replaced and nothing better to do. And somebody listed the Fellowship of the Ring. All 11 of them.
Ooh.
For $100.
And you didn't get it?
Oh, I have it.
I was going to say, you didn't let that go by, did you? Holy fuck. That's cheap.
So now I want the Balrog.
Oh, yeah.
He's only $50 on Amazon, so I'll probably order him.
I would say he's not bad. Like, I mean, for me, I have some Funko Pops. Some of them are packed away currently, but the ones that I have easy access to right now are Wrecker.
Ooh, nice.
He is my favorite. So if you ever get around to it, and it'll be your homework one day, probably during the winter time, to watch the Clone Wars and then watch the Bad Batch, he's who I identify with. Because he is literally just brute strength in a person.
Nice.
Oh, I like to blow things up. Yeah, let's go do it. I love him so much. But then he's also like me, where he doesn't like flying per se. He has a fear of heights. I'm like, I feel him. I am the bull moose. I will lift things, carry heavy things, blow things up. That's fantastic. But then you're like, oh, here, scale this side of this building. Oh. No. And then I have one of my favorite episodes to this day. And I mean, I love The Mandalorian. Absolutely love him. Again, freaking Pedro Pascal, fantastic. When they brought on live action Bo-Katan and had it played, like, she reprises her role because she voices the character in Clone Wars, Katie Sackhoff, as Bo in real life. I thought, oh my fucking God, I was so happy to have both of them come together. I'm like, best show ever. But my favorite episode of The Mandalorian, bar none, was when he was eating the freaking frog eggs, which is the thing that I have.
Yes.
He's just sitting there mowing down these eggs that could save an entire race or something.
Somewhere in that corner over there, under those boxes, there's a Grogu plushie.
Yes, I have the actual, one of the few things that I'm glad my ex actually got me, is a Grogu Build-A-Bear. The actual one from Build-A-Bear that costs a freaking arm and a leg. She bought it for my birthday when we were still together and gave it to me. It's like, oh, fantastic. Glad that she did.
Sweet.
Like, that doesn't remind me of her. That is just fine. And then, like, I have little random stuff like this where it's the child and it's him and his little carrying
pod.
Thing.
Nice.
Yep, in his little pod. So I'm a big Star Wars fan. As I'm sitting here looking at my cases filled with Star Wars stuff. And weirdly enough, I don't have enough Mandalorian things yet. Because now I'm just like, I should support Pedro. I should get the Mandalorian sets. He needs more support. Oh,
My boy's bothering me. My son, sorry.
I was like, "Your Pedro's bothering you?" I'm like, what?
No, he's my man. My boy is my son.
Okay. Let's talk about probably, as much as I love him as the Mandalorian, and I'm a gigantic Star Wars fan. Excited to see him in the new Gladiator movie because I absolutely loved the original. Let's talk about him playing one of the best characters in probably video game zombie history, Joel in The Last of Us, which is another one. This show gave him Zaddy status. I'm still not 100% certain what the hell that means, other than like I've seen older daddy that people want. Either way, it's someone that they want.
Okay, so let me interfere and I will explain what daddy means.
Well, daddy I know, but Zaddy is the difference.
Oh, zombie
with the
daddy.
Z. See, that's what I would say. That's what I thought, but then it was because I want to say it was in an interview where someone had referred to him as being a zaddy, and he was like, "I think that's a compliment." And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's like that you're an older daddy," and he was like, "I don't want to be old."
He's not old.
Not even. He looks perfection. But him getting the role of Joel in The Last of Us was probably one of the best decisions HBO has ever made for a TV series.
Yeah.
I agree. Plays that so perfectly.
I agree, and it's not because I love Pedro, but it's because having played the video game, I honestly can say that when that first episode came out and I watched it, he brought Joel to life. Yes. Mannerisms, the way he is, the talk, the whole of it. It was boom, Joel. I may sound prejudiced, but I don't think they could have found somebody better to play that role. No. Just like Bella Ramsey.
Oh my God. They cast them for playing Ellie. Again, to me, I think they did a fucking fantastic job.
Yeah. The casting was like impeccable. Impeccable.
Yes. I would say everyone that they cast for that series, it's one of those few times where I'm like, you know what? They cast that to perfection. Because Bella Ramsey, fucking phenomenal. Like, I loved them when they played the role of the
Lady Mormont.
Lady Mormont, Bear Isle or Island?
Yeah.
I think it was Isle. And that character was phenomenal, and like still to this day, every time I watch Game of Thrones, just goosebumps right up the arm when Lady Mormont comes in. I'm like, ugh. But
although my favorite part was when she's standing there in front of Jon Snow and she says, "My men will fight for House Stark," and he says, "And how many men?" And she's like, 11. We're a small isle, but we're tenacious.
I think the exact number was 67 was that what she gave, but she was like, but each one fights like 10 men, so it's like you have 670. Like,
oh, that was like gold.
Yes, that, and when she tells off one of the other lords, he's like, my daughters won't fight in this, they're women, they should sit back. And she's like, excuse me? I don't plan on knitting while this is happening. I plan on defending my people. I'm going to go out and fight, and you're sure as shit not going to tell me not to. So when I heard the casting that they got Pedro for Joel and Bella for Ellie, I literally jumped up and did a happy dance. My mom was looking at me. She's like, "The fuck you doing, kid?" I'm like, "I'm so happy. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good."
And it's like 6 shades of, right? Because they were both in Game of Thrones
Mm-hmm.
at different times.
Yes. No actual crossover, but
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
both in it.
but they were both in the same show.
Mm-hmm. And now on to another, again, a mega hit, because The Last of Us had some of the highest viewerships in HBO history. Broke their goddamn servers night one because we couldn't watch the damn thing.
Best thing ever. I mean, even though I
Yep.
had to wait till the next day, but still.
Yep. I was say we were in that same boat where I was like, "Are you kidding me? I want to watch this goddamn episode." And again, so phenomenally well done. And both of them bring the characters to life. Like you said, we've both played the game, or games, and he puts such life into Joel. And I mean, the casting for the video game was top notch. So that was a really high bar to try and get to and then exceed, where they still explained everything so well. He got the mannerisms. They aged him just like they do in the video game. You get that ruggedness. He even gets the inflection and the tones of his voice the same to match the character. It's literally seeing the video game character and video game come to life.
And he does the emotions perfectly.
Yes.
Like, spoiler.
Hashtag spoilers.
in season 1, when
You gonna talk about his daughter?
when Ellie was taken by the cannibals, that community that was eating people.
Oh, yes.
And at the end, when Joel hugged her because she was like freaking out, I was like, oh my god.
You could feel it.
Oh, so good.
I would say between that and, like, two of the biggest things for video game versus TV comparison, and again, this is honestly The Last of Us video game versus TV show, like literally shot for shot, other than a couple extra things added into the show to make it even better in my eyes, and for a lot of people that I've talked to. But the part where they're literally driving, his brother comes and picks them up, they're driving around trying to get out of town, and then his daughter ends up getting shot when they're accosted by the military there. And being in the game literally made me cry the first time, because I felt it, like there's chills. Even when I play it, there's still chills.
Yeah.
Watching him portray it on TV, again, gave me chills for that part, because you could feel it. The tears in his eyes, the way that he was holding her, the way that he was crying over her body, sobbing over it. Just, he got all of the raw emotion into it.
Yeah.
And then you get to have that same kind of feeling again when you get to the end of TV video game, and Ellie's taken from him by the Fireflies and is being rolled off for surgery. And he finally finds out what they're going to do, that they're going to have to kill her in order to extract her brain tumor thing,
Tumor thing.
whatever you want to call it, in order to create a cure. And when they do that, he loses it. He goes through. Now, I was curious how they're going to do it in the TV show, because in the game, obviously, you have to work your way up to her,
right?
Get her, and you have to fight your way there. So to see it come to life in the TV show, and the look on his face as he's doing it, as he's going through, and he's just one-shotting all of these bad guys, and just like army kicking ass. It was amazing to see, because you get that feeling. Like, he did such a good job portraying his love and affection for this kid, that he now sees as like, okay, it's his new adoptive daughter. Like, he hasn't let himself feel this way towards anyone
Yeah.
since his kid, because it broke his heart so thoroughly. And now here's this new little girl that he's willing to kill for and die for. And you just feel all of that, again, raw emotion. And to me, it just shows what a good actor Pedro is.
Yeah.
Because when he
for
portrays
sure.
these emotions, you feel them. Like, they're right there. Even like the Mandalorian at the end of season 2, when Luke shows up and takes, again, spoilers, and takes Grogu, away, or it might have been season 3, whatever, somewhere in there, when he takes Grogu away and he finally takes off his helmet, and again, he's crying because here goes the little kid. And that's why there's a joke out there for everyone. It's like, oh, is the show or movie that he's going to be in going to have a child in it that he has to take care of? But that's not his own.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, well, you know what? He does those parts really freaking well.
That's
and
right.
he
That's
makes
right.
our hearts break. So take that.
That's
you all
right.
wish you were as awesome as Pedro.
Oh.
I'm just thinking people are probably listening to this and they're like, okay, there's such thing as too much love. There's too much love for someone. You're like, no, there's not enough. There needs to be more love for him, because he just seems like such a, I'd absolutely love to meet him, because he seems like such a genuinely sweet and funny person.
I think he would be one of those celebrities that is like totally down to earth.
Yes.
Like, that isn't like $175 for an autograph type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Like, he feels more earthly. Like, there's no big thing separating us. Like, he feels like that guy that would walk around and be like, hey, have you tried this snack from Chile? You should try this. It's really good.
Try these hot chips.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what this is? Oh, it's this. Eat it. Trust me. You'll love it.
Excuse me.
Do you need to go off and daydream about him now?
No, I need to go and edit fucking wedding photos now.
Oh, that's right.
After I post the podcast.
Yes. What are you doing first? Podcast first, then I edit.
Podcast first, wedding photos then.
We know the orders.
Oh, it's gonna take me probably a good 30 minutes just to get the pictures off my 2 cameras.
Remember when it seemed like such a good idea? You're like, I love taking pictures. This is fun.
Well, for me, I use 2 cameras, and I take approximately 5 pictures of the same shot with each camera.
Smart.
Only because PSA, if you go to an event that has a professional photographer and those people are paying that professional photographer a shit ton of money to take their photos, put your fucking cell phone away. I can edit photos. I can take a boat out of the background. I can make the tree look pretty. I can't make their fucking eyes look at me. So, thankfully, Sadie was very receptive to my demand of, can you tell people to put their cell phones away? She actually had the officiant announce that before the ceremony started, so that I was the only person with a camera. It didn't work because I'm pretty sure I have a picture of another fucker in the background with a camera taking a photo. But, whatever.
And just saying, at some point in time, when she takes pictures of things that aren't weddings, that she will share some of them on our TikToks. That way you can see some of the beautiful pictures that she gets, because I've gotten to see some stuff, and she takes freaking awesome. Amazing and awesome. I'm awesome.
We're making new words.
Today's word of the week is I'm awesome. Amazingly awesome. I'm awesome. Pictures. Now, see, you just need to get good enough with like long range pictures that you can take pictures of Pedro and edit yourself into them.
If I can do that successfully, I will post that on TikTok.
She's going to start searching around and be like, yes.
There's a picture of Pedro on the red carpet, be all like this, and there's me in my pajamas beside him. Not photoshopped, I swear. Hashtag not photoshopped.
Hashtag real living, God.
But yes.
What makes us happy? Pictures.
I will. I will try to get some of the macro shots that I took. Anyway, wildlife photos and
yes,
whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, just say she gets amazing wildlife photos.
It took me approximately 5 years after I had my camera before I felt comfortable actually taking a human being's photo. Yeah, wildlife doesn't talk back.
Wildlife's just like, go ahead, take it.
And they're always looking at you.
That's true. You're so demanding. And
so, yes, I will do that. Maybe I'll do that this week. I
think that's a good idea. And
yeah.
You have, before we wrap up, you have I'm not imagining it. I was tagged in a post this week by you or V about doing a photo shoot with bodying berries. What is with the English language for me today?
So on one of the photography pages that I follow, the photographer had posted, it's a best friend photo session for the fall, so around Halloween time, and it's burying a body photo shoot. So it's basically you and your best friend with a fake body rolled in tarp. You got shovels, digging a hole, that sort of thing. And I just thought that would be so fun to do.
Yes.
Now, when I post on Facebook and I say, does anybody want to do this? It means I'm going to do it for free. You're not going to pay me.
I think, and you can say no if you don't want to, but I think we should do like a little photo series of you, me, and V trying to hide a body, but doing it almost like we're telling a story with the pictures. Like show us trying to run through the woods.
Okay, well, I won't be running anywhere because I'll be taking the photo.
Well, yes.
You and V can be telling the story.
I was going to say, it'll be the story told from your point of view because it'll be first person.
So now, I do have 2 people that I'm going to do the dead body shoot with. My friend Mark sent my post to a friend of his.
Woo.
Him and his wife are like into the super weird shit like me. I mean, the woman had a black wedding dress, which totally respect. She looked gorgeous.
Love it.
So I'm gonna do the shoot with them on near Mark's got 3.5 acres of land out by John R. Homestead. So what I would like for you and V, hear me out.
To be fair, you just heard me out, so fair's fair. Again,
Halloween photo shoots, but your faces aren't seen because you have pumpkins on your head.
Are they going to be real pumpkins, or are they going to be the plastic pumpkins?
We can get the styrofoam, plastic, whatever. They don't have to be real. It's just I saw again where it was a group of female friends, and each pumpkin had a different look on their face. One was happy, one was sad, one was surprised. But holy fuck, that's cute.
Yes, I'm down for that. Like I said, I'm down for both. I'm down for doing that. I'm down for the idea of the little mini photo series of, like you said, first person taking the pictures of you being like, oh, okay, come on. This is us running into the woods. This is us dropping the body. This is us burying it. This is us trying to shoo away squirrels.
Yeah,
I think we can have some fun with this. I'm sure whether V likes it or not, she's being tagged in this. Hey.
So yeah, Veronica had commented, and I responded with, "You and Taylor should do it," and I tagged you.
I was going to say, I won't even lie, because I think I was at work when it got tagged in it, so then I responded back on break, and I was like, I'm in. I don't know what it is, but I'm in.
I'm always up for mischief.
Exactly. Where it's like, what are you doing? It's no different than in, I think it was in January is when that trivia thing is.
Yes, January 24th.
Okay, January 24th. I was like, I know it's sometime in January. You sending the trivia thing for the local trivia, I don't know, event. I was like, I'm in.
So it's called, for my fellow Ontarians, our fellow Ontarians, I should say.
I should say.
It is called Battle of the Brains, and it's for the Alzheimer's Society, and it is Ontario's biggest trivia event.
Ooh.
So there's teams of 8.
Oh, okay.
You got to have a team of 8, and there's usually between 100 and 120 tables. They have it at the
was it the Chicharo?
In the huge room, and then one of the side rooms.
Damn.
So it's like $45 a person, but your meals included and your night of trivia. And there's door prizes, but honestly, it's mostly for bragging rights and a really good cause. So
I heard say, I knew I was in the moment. I was like, ooh, trivia, I'm in for this. I won't guarantee that I'll know knowing me, I'll know all the answers, and they will all leave the moment they go, all right, who knows this answer too? And
so the first time that I did it, I had just started watching Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions was one of the dragons' names. And it was like, I'm not going to remember the question because it was a few years ago, like 6 or 7. Oh, something about dragon being brought back to life, breathes ice instead of fire. What was the dragon's name? And I was like, I should know this. And you write it's 10 questions per round, and you write your questions on a piece of paper. You have like a team captain that does the writing, and then helpers come and they pick up the paper, and then they go and submit it, and they tally up whether you're right or wrong. Scores go on the board.
Oh, okay.
Like they were just about to go on to the next question, and I like literally, you're supposed to be quiet because the tables are relatively close to you. And I looked at my friend Alan, and I'm like, blah! Yelling out, and all these people go.
Never mind.
Don't ask me any more questions.
You're like, please, everyone, stop looking at me.
So, like, when we build our team, we try to have the music expert, the college football expert, Randy, the hockey expert, Randy and Norm.
I was just going to say, yep.
Current events, Darren.
Yeah.
You would be television, comics, blah, blah, blah type thing.
Yeah. So I like that we all specialize in something. We sound like...
No, and that's exactly how we build our team. That's how I build my team.
I was just going to say, Dana's trying to bring in all the ringers. She's like, I know we know the answers to these.
Pretty much.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Now I'm even more excited for this.
We'll do a TikTok about it.
Fuck yeah, we will. Oh, yeah, we're thinking people. We got this.
Hopefully then we'll be at 1,000 people. And we can actually go live during the break.
We'll work on it. That'll be our next goal. We'll work on getting more content out so that way we can start luring them all in.
Lure. All right.
Come to us.
So on that note, let's bid everyone a fond farewell. Thank you for joining us for our Pedro Pascal TED Talk. Look for me. I will be doing a book review on Stuart Bray's book Cotton Candy, and I'll probably get to that Monday or Tuesday. By Thursday, I'll post some of my photography pictures, and then we'll be back next weekend with
another episode.
Another podcast.
We'll be back for next week's podcast.
All right. Have a good week, everyone, and we bid you fond farewell.
Ciao.